Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 best New York Rangers prospects, and today I'm joined by huge Rangers fan WardyNHL. Now make sure you go subscribe to his channel. He'll be joining us and collabing in today's video, and basically what's going to happen is we're going to be alternating picks, and we came together, made our top 10. Basically I would pick, or he would pick the number 1, I'd go number 2, he'd go number 3, and then so on and so forth. So we basically compiled to make our top 10 in the complete version, or at least as much as possible, but it definitely had some interesting results, and this top 10 is pretty accurate. So who do I see as the best New York Rangers prospects, and which prospects make our top 10? Watch till the end for all of the rankings, all my picks, and of course hit that big red subscribe button for more videos just like this one. Now, as I said before, I'm going to be joined today by WardyNHL, one of the best Rangers fans out there and one of the fastest growing hockey YouTubers out there as well. Highly recommend his channel, and we're going to be starting out in the top 10. He has 5 picks to cover, I have 5 picks to cover, and we're going to be alternating picks as well. And we're going to start out with the 10th best prospect in the draft. This is the one that I talk about, that being Finnish defenseman Tarmo Reunanen. Now, Reunanen is a super awesome player to watch. To me, even though there's not too much flash in his game, he just is so fun to watch in the fundamentals, in the efficiency. That's a player that has some pretty good size as well and has been making mincemeat of Finnish Liga over the past couple of seasons. He's playing in the Mistis this season, but I wouldn't look too much into that. He's a player that, although more on the older side, is a guy who I think can provide some great physicality, some great defensive game on a bottom pairing in the NHL soon, and could maybe even step up to a middle pairing guy. I'm not sure if he has too much potential in the NHL, but that's a guy that is just efficient. He does the hard work. He has a great hockey IQ, and I think defensively will provide some great value for New York.
What's up, guys? But first of all, thank you, Grav, so much for having me on the channel, my man. I simply cannot thank you enough. You're one of the best hockey YouTubers in the game today and have been for quite some time now. You've seen tremendous growth on your channel over this past year especially, and for good reason. You come out with consistent and fantastic overall hockey content, and it's guys like you that truly make this hockey community what it is today. So seriously, thank you again. And for those that don't know me, hi guys, my name's Tyler. I'm from WardyNHL, where I discuss all things regarding the NHL and hockey overall, very similar to Grav in that aspect, and I'm a diehard Rangers fan through and through, so I simply cannot wait to get into this video. But seriously, thank you again so much, Grav. It means an absolute ton. Next up, at number 9, we have Matthew Robertson, one of my favorite prospects the New York Rangers has to offer, and one can argue that he should definitely be higher on this list, and I understand that argument. But between the depth that the Rangers have on the defensive front and on that left side, it was a little bit of a challenge to have him higher than 9 here. But regardless, Robertson is definitely a underrated prospect, no question. He went in the 2nd round to the New York Rangers back in the 2019 draft, right around 49th overall, if my memory serves me correct, and he was a prospect that many believed had 1st round potential and talent. So the fact that he fell to the Rangers that far in the 2nd round was huge for them, and has definitely not skipped a beat. He has already signed his ELC with the Rangers right after being drafted, and had another great year in the WHL playing for the Edmonton Oil Kings as a sound puck-moving two-way defenseman. I feel like that's all the Rangers have, but I'm not complaining. The 6'3", over 200 pounder as well, another big body defenseman nonetheless, had 47 points in 60 plus games for the Edmonton Oil Kings this past season. Is just such a smooth skater as well, has a great transition game into that offensive zone, can help command that power play, has a very strong shot as well. That 1T definitely looks great at times, and he can contribute in a lot of ways for this New York Rangers teams.
Next up, going to number 8 in our rankings, I have a New York Rangers centerman, Morgan Barron, and he is also my boy. Wardy's boy is Matthew Robertson, but my boy is Morgan Barron. I really do like what Morgan Barron has to offer, though. He's an excellent playmaker, has a really underrated shot, and so far has been awesome with Cornell in the NCAA over the past couple of seasons at least. That's a player that I'm not sure has 2nd line potential for the New York Rangers, but I think has a great overall offensive game. I think his acceleration and his top speed could use some work, but that's still a player that has a long way to go, but once he does reach that, I think he'll be a pretty solid middle six player for New York.
Next up at number 7, we have Braden Schneider, one of the 2 first-round picks from the 2020 NHL draft class for the New York Rangers, along with Alexis Lafreniere, obviously. And Schneider was a surprise pick to many, assuming that the Rangers weren't going to go with a defenseman, especially in the first round, but they did just that, because Schneider, they even traded up for him a couple picks with the Calgary Flames, obviously, and Schneider really looks like he's going to be a stud for the New York Rangers. He is so mature, similar to K'Andre Miller in that aspect as well, and he apparently boded well in his short interview with the New York Rangers with Jeff Gordon and John Davidson, etc., everyone else in management. He really wowed them in just a short period of time, so I believe that definitely one factor with them selecting him. But regardless, the fact that Braden Schneider fell to the Rangers at 22 when he was projected to go really in that top 10, top 15 possibly, and a draft that was so filled with amazing talent, especially on the offensive front, shows just how much potential there is for Schneider. The 6'2", just over 200-pound defenseman has a strong right-hand shot and has an amazing two-way game. His transition game is truly superb.
Then going on to my next pick, I have at number 6, Zac Jones, and he is one of my favorite prospects in the Rangers pool. He's a guy that offensively has so much talent. His puck moving ability is sublime, and I think that's a player that with the Rangers could be in a middle pairing someday, especially on the power play, get those big time minutes and produce very well offensively. But his overall offensive makeup just lends himself to a great middle pairing offensive D-man, and the Rangers don't exactly need that, but it definitely will help when they need to score goals with guys like K'Andre Miller and Reunanen and Robertson and Schneider using more of their defensive game in the NHL. So I think Zac Jones will provide a lot of value and be great for New York in the future too.
Next up, with the number 5 for the New York Rangers when it comes to their prospect list, we have K'Andre Miller, the stud defenseman. Now, K'Andre Miller is such a great story. Obviously drafted 22nd overall back in 2018 by the Rangers, one of their multiple first-round draft picks that year, along with Kravtsov, obviously, among others. And nonetheless, K'Andre, he hasn't even been a defenseman for more than 5 years, I do believe. He transitioned into a defenseman. He was originally a winger. He became a defenseman when he started playing for the U.S. national development team. So that was fantastic to see in such a short period of time of him transitioning his game to a defenseman, how superb he has been. He is a little raw in some aspects of his game, but he is so mature and sound nonetheless. He's a fantastic puck moving defenseman, great two-way ability that can really shut down the opposing team as they enter the offensive zone. He can really take you on the boards, give a great hit. He's 6'3", just over 200 pounds. He really looks bigger than 6'3", but nonetheless, he's an amazing story and is so sound and so mature for a guy that hasn't been playing defense for that long in his hockey career.
And then we go to my next pick at number 4, another defenseman in Nils Lundkvist. And Nils Lundkvist is also one of my favorites, and I'm so glad to be talking about him here. It's a shame that he has to be at number 4, because he could be as high as number 2 depending on the rules if we discount Shesterkin as maybe non-NHL prospect. But one thing's for sure is that Lundkvist is filled with talent. The one gripe I had him against his draft year was that his skating wasn't really where it needed to be, but he's really improved in that department, and his offensive skill is just awesome. His awareness is awesome as well, and so consistent too. That's a player that I could see being at least a middle pairing guy for the Rangers and could potentially suit up for a top pairing placement if his power play time does start to get up there.
Next up, the third best prospect for the New York Rangers is, yes, Vitali Kravtsov, the right winger who was obviously drafted 9th overall back in the 2018 NHL entry draft. Was a controversial pick at first to many Rangers fans, definitely not myself, because I actually did my due diligence on him and his game before he was entering the draft, and needless to say, I was very happy when the Rangers selected him. But a lot of Rangers fans thought that, oh, this was an off-the-board pick, this made no sense, why aren't they going with Oliver Wahlstrom, for example? And I think it's safe to say us Ranger fans can agree Kravtsov is going to be a stud sooner rather than later for the New York Rangers. He's a bigger body winger as well, and while he isn't crazy physical by any means, he can do everything in the offensive zone, has superb playmaking ability as well as defensively sound, and can get in front of the net. He can really score a goal in any which way and has an amazing start to his season in the KHL this year, playing for Tractor. Has 10 points currently in 14 games, including 8 goals. He was on quite the goal streak even after dealing with an injury this past season to start the year, out for three 3 or so weeks, I believe, and still he looks tremendous for the Rangers, as they definitely have needed a little bit more depth on that winger front, at least not until Capo Caco came into play. That really helped things out, but nonetheless, him and Kravtsov especially are going to be great for the Rangers. But Kravtsov just displays an amazing set of skills, true playmaking ability that is going to be at the NHL level sooner rather than later.
Then going on to number 2, and with Kravtsov at number 3, I think we have to go with the obvious pick. Now it depends whether you see him as a prospect. In this list we have him as a prospect, that being goaltender Igor Shesterkin. And Shesterkin is a guy that is absolutely going to be a top tier goaltender in the league, I think, and already has been so good in his NHL career. It's not easy to be take the throne from Henrik Lundkvist, and he's already done it with such a maturity level, such a great work ethic, and that's a guy that I think is going to be a supreme goaltender for New York. And it won't really take that long either. He is starting to get into his prime. He's already 24, but that's a guy that will make an immediate impact and could potentially be in the Calder Trophy race heading into next season with Alexis Lafrenlere.
With the number 1 prospect for the New York Rangers, it's the obvious. It's the guy on the wall behind me. It's the man right here that I've yet to frame, because I got to frame 2 newspapers of him in my room, obviously, and that is Prince Alexis Lafreniere. Alexis has been coveted for so long now as the key first overall pick to go in the 2020 NHL draft, the best player out of his class, even with how deep it was, and that held true come draft night just a couple weeks ago now. Alexis is easily going to be the next face of the franchise for the New York Rangers. He's had over 100 points in these past 2 seasons playing in the QMJHL for Rimouski Oceanic, the same team that, yes, Sidney Crosby played for, and he looks like he could very well be the most prized prospect the NHL has seen in quite some time. We're talking upwards of even going back to Connor McDavid's draft. That's how coveted Alexis is, and for great reason. He's just an amazing overall player that displays such great ability and such maturity. He's obviously 6'2", over 200 pounds, or just around 200 pounds, and he has a big body, a big frame, so he's not afraid to get in the nitty gritty. He's a winner. He wants to compete. He gives everything he possibly has night in and night out. He truly looks like he's always 3 steps ahead of the play no matter what. He brings up that rush into the offensive zone with ease and truly wants to command that offensive zone, no matter if it's 5-on-5 or on the power play. He makes things happen. His playmaking ability is superb. He can get around defensemen with such ease, and he is just a bona fide star. He's surely going to be, as I mentioned, the face of the franchise for the New York Rangers, and for great reason. Even with how deep this prospect pool already is for the Rangers, now you bring Alexis Lafreniere into the mix, and surely the sky is the limit for this team going forward. I cannot say enough good things about Alexis. As a diehard Rangers fan, I'm ecstatic to see him step on the ice for his first game in the blue shirt, and I just simply cannot get started with what his future is going to hold. It's the playmaking, it's the no-look passes, it is the wicked shot, it is putting his team on his back no matter what through his time in juniors, and of course playing for Team Canada and leading them to gold and being nominated the best player for Team Canada in their gold victory in the World Junior Championships just over this past year. Phenomenal 10 points while dealing with an injury as well. He's a warrior, and he is truly going to be the next big thing New York City has to offer.
But that'll be it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Once again, head over to Wardy's channel if you haven't already. Supreme content over there, and great Rangers content as well. Of course, if you're still watching, hit that like button on this video, hit that subscribe button as well, join the Grav gang, and hit that notification bell too. Let me know down in the comments down below what you agree and disagree with our picks, and what would your top prospects for the Rangers look like? Who are the guys that you like? Make sure you share this video with your friends. Get the top Rangers prospects out there, boys, and click on this card as well for all my hockey prospect content right in one playlist. My name is Nathan. I love you. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Goodbye.